Oh, that was awesome. Look at that thing. Oh my God. Dude, that was badass too.
What's up, friends? All right, we're back. No More Secrets, July edition. Mille Lacs Lake smallmouth. One thing that I have been getting messages about is when am I gonna do a largemouth video? When's that gonna happen? We're gonna do that like real soon, I promise. I've been out doing a lot of largemouth fishing actually pretty recently, and dude, it's been fun. You know, the past couple days, I will say this. So if I haven't said it already, I know I have said it 100 times, just weird weather patterns this year. The weirdest weather that I've ever seen in my life, period. And the other day when I was out fishing with one of my buddies, we ran up to a lake up north, and dude, we had to put on the bibs, and I told him I don't think I've never been at risk for hypothermia in the month of June ever in my life. If you are new to the channel, if you're new, man, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you watching the video. Please like and subscribe to the video, and definitely throw a comment down below telling me what you guys think of the video too. I'm always looking for suggestions and different ideas of different YouTube videos I can do for you guys that would make you guys want to watch. So let's jump right into it. No More Secrets, if you're new to the channel, is just basically a very good in-depth overview on the stuff that I'm using to catch bass. And we go through the rods, the reels, the tackle, and maybe little hacks that we do with stuff just to keep you guys up to date and on like new trending stuff that's happening in the industry. So, all right, so for the month of July, man, you guys are gonna be coming out to the pond. The weather is gonna be getting spicy hot. Water temps are gonna be going up. I believe the other day when I was out there, I ran a guide trip out there the other day, and it was probably 68 degrees. And so I'm guessing that it went like this, being that the air temp went like that. But for the most part, I've seen it almost want to get to 70 degrees, which definitely opens up the scope of different baits that we're gonna be using this month. Now, one special part about this episode is I'm gonna be running through some baits that you guys have never seen before. One of the baits that I'm gonna start with is a bait that my boss over at Nett Bait wouldn't let me keep this a secret. One thing about this bait is it's just a really unique bait. It's been around forever. It's a timeless bait, and yeah, it's a tube, but it's not just any tube, all right? This is a 2.5 inch tube by Nett Bait, and it is by far like my favorite tube to throw on the market right now. One of the main reasons why is it's obviously the size, right? And the size is it's just different, man. This thing doubles over as so much, and with all of the stuff going on Mille Lacs right now, you got crawdad, you got tons of big perch hatches going on out there. Giant schools of perch I'm seeing. This thing doubles over as a great crawdad and perch imitator. It's just uber deadly. If you're finding post-spawn fish next to reed beds or any kind of vegetation, oftentimes those vegetation are gonna hold a bunch of bait. This freaking tube is just money, and I'll show you guys how we have it rigged and what we're throwing it with, obviously. This is gonna be like the best tubing rod that I've found that Halo Rod carries, and this is the KS2, KS2 Elite. It's a medium 7'4", and what I really like about this rod is it has the backbone to carry a tube. And you know, obviously with this tube, you're not gonna need much. The way I have it rigged is I got it on a Great Lakes Finesse mini tube head, which is the perfect tube head for this jig. Otherwise, what I do is I could just take like a Ned Rig and pop it in there. It could be used as a tube like that too as well. But for the most part, this Great Lakes Finesse tube head is the deal, man. And if you look at that hook, hook is uber sticky sharp. I can do this in several different ways, guys. So I can throw this out, I can fish it super slow, I can let it hit bottom, bounce it off bottom. Another thing that I really like to do is I like to mid-stroll this over the top of their heads. You guys would be surprised how many fish actually come up and eat this thing when you just mid-stroll it over their head. It's insane. So definitely my favorite tube right now that you can get. And like I said, man, not a lot of guys are throwing this. Not a lot of guys even freaking know about this tube. So you guys can get them. You can get them. I'm pretty sure Wayne up at Garrison Sports might have them. But other than that, you're gonna have to go to American Bait Works, but that thing is just juice, dude. And this is my favorite color too. This is Frosty Pumpkin, but you know, it looks like a mustard color. And then one thing that I don't do, because this hook, the way that the hook sits, the curvature and the way that it sits on the jig, the hook comes out so good to the point to where I don't even cut off the tentacles on it. A lot of times what I used to do with tubes is I just take off like a good 1/4 inch of the tentacles hanging down below, just so that it wouldn't get wrapped up on the barb of the hook. This does not happen with this bait, and I'm truly impressed with this. Now I got the rod paired up with the Shimano Sustain 4000 that I'm liking more and more every single day. 4000 series are gonna be the deal for any bottom contact bait. It just picks up line so much faster. You can get long bomb casts out there. Just definitely my reel of choice for doing bottom contact baits. I just think that 3000, it's a great reel. It does great for like drop shotting and minnows and stuff like that. But as far as bottom contact stuff goes, like Ned Rigs, tubes, maybe you're rolling swimmers down off the bottom, a 4000 series is just the way to go, especially when you're looking to make really long casts. It's just the deal. So 10-pound braid, 10-pound Daiwa J braid going to a 10-pound Daiwa Samurai fluorocarbon leader. So definitely got to pick this setup up. The whole entire thing, very cost friendly, and is just a badass little tube rig. All right, next we got the Minnow. Now you guys know I love strolling that Eco Shad. 3-inch Eco Shad, definitely badass from the Net Bait Hex Tech lineup. When I need something that's just a little bit bigger though, every now and then we're finding fish out there that are definitely spitting up big perch, big old perch they're spitting up. And so when they are doing that, man, they're keying in on stuff that's a little bit bigger. So got a 5-inch Sakamata Shad. That's like a green pumpkin color. The perch out there, a lot of them that I'm catching are kind of darkish looking, so I kind of wanted to just emulate that hatch. So I definitely went a little bit darker, got it on an Owner Horizon head, and it's a 16th ounce. You know, we're fishing 12 feet and less. And one thing that I think is kind of funny that I heard this the other day, that light baits and lightweight is trending in the fishing industry, and it's not for me. Like, I've always stuck by this, especially for smallmouth, especially when the water gets warm. I really think that like a lighter fall is gonna 1000% increase the odds of that fish committing to the bait. It looks 100 times more natural. It definitely gives off that presentation that the fish are looking for. They engage with it a lot more than what they do if the bait is super heavy and it darts down on them. Yeah, you can move more water and see more fish that way, but I feel like going lighter is gonna it's gonna turn a bunch of non-biters into biters, and that's what we're trying to do out there. So whenever I'm looking for like a longer minnow profile, I'm gonna run that Sakamata Shad or like a Raid fish roller or something like that, just so that I can get these things to bite. I got it on the BB Series scoping rod. I love this BB Series scoping rod, dude. It is the deal. It's super light and it just doubles over as so many other different rods. I would say that this is definitely one of the best hybrid rods that I have in my boat. It's designed by Justin Hamner, who is a serious killer as far as when it comes to scoping, but designed just for scoping, but I can promise you guys it's worth much more than just that. Definitely worth its weight in gold. Got it paired with the Daiwa Kage 3000 MQ 10-pound braid to a 10-pound Daiwa Samurai fluorocarbon leader. And then, you know, one of the big things that I learned last year was just having a shorter leader on your scoping rod. And I actually started doing that even with like my wacky presentations and stuff like that, or like Nico presentations when I throw them on fish. Anything that's weightless or that I'm like sharp shooting with, it just increases the accuracy and it increases the efficiency or speed. Otherwise, I just really feel like, you know, without having that FG knot way down in there, your casts get way more accurate and you just get faster. So as far as like sniping goes, that's what I call it. As far as like sniping goes, bait to fish, I'm gonna use a smaller, shorter leader rather every single time. I just find it to be 20 times more efficient. You know what, like never fails. Whenever I start doing one of these, my neighbor mows his lawn, or like they start leaf blowing all around the neighborhood. It's crazy. It's insane. So I'm gonna open up my garage door quick. All right, next, we got the Nico Rig, and you know, the cat's out of the bag, dude. Like, everybody knows about this whole like fuzzy dice, skirted game. I've been doing it for a little while now, and now everybody knows about it. So, cat's out of the bag. We're gonna show you guys what's up. This is the Raid 2-way by Raid Japan. This is exactly how I rig it. Little owner mosquito hook, and then one of the reasons, so on these really small baits like this, you know, this is the smaller version of the 2-way. On these really, really light baits like this, I like using a smaller hook. I tried using like a bigger Nico hook with it, and it just like, it does not look right in the water, and it just doesn't seem like I get really good hooks on them. So I went down in size and started using a drop shot hook instead of a Nico hook. And one thing that I found, and you don't even, I'm guessing too, you wouldn't absolutely have to do this. You could definitely use like a #1 cover shot and it probably would work just as good. I just didn't have any, so I just went and tried a drop shot hook and it worked really good. So yeah, this 2-way is the deal. I got a little 16th ounce weight in it, and then I'm using a G-Crack Nico hack in it. So that Nico hack is pretty badass. I'll show you guys. Look at the back side and then on the front side, and it just provides just a little bit more cushion. If you guys see that back part right there, that plastic piece, that just provides just a little bit more cushion. It disperses the weight across it so that when you do catch a fish, your bait's not as apt to rip. You know, one thing's for certain, I'm really starting to like these HFX series rods. Now I have used this on the BB series rod. It's freaking dope for that. But the HFX series rod is no joke either. It handles this technique absolutely perfect. It's got the great backbone in the rod, and I actually like it more than the KS2 blanks. So if you're gonna get a Nico or scoping rod and you're not gonna get the BB series rod, which would probably be a mistake, but if you weren't gonna do that and you were looking for something just a little more price friendly, you cannot go wrong with this HFX series. It's a 7-foot medium power rod, fast tip. It's just perfect for this. Running the Shimano Vanford 4000, guys. I told you guys I'd let you guys know how I like the switch from Shimano to Daiwa so far. I'm absolutely loving it. I didn't throw all my Daiwas away, and I didn't sell them yet, but I will promise you guys that these Vanfords are definitely awesome. I'm super, super impressed with it. Yes, and when you hook up with them, you can instantly hear that drag want to set. Like, it instantly starts ticking. It's a freaking great, great reel. Definitely worth the money, worth the 250 bucks or whatever it is. 10-pound braid to a 10-pound leader. Pretty simple. You don't need to get down in line. And you know, in the months of like July and August, maybe it is a good time to use 8-pound test, but I usually don't. Not anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. So definitely one of my favorite Nico baits to use. I've been using it for a few years. That 2-way is the juice. Put a lot of fish in the boat with this in the month of June, but I don't think that this is gonna die. As a matter of fact, last year it carried us all the way into August, and that's the Topwater bite. You know, this is a chug bug. This is a price point friendly popper that I have tied on, and it's a trusty. It's an old trusty, man. And I don't have the orange colored in on there, but typically what I would do is I'd take a Sharpie, color that orange, and this thing is just a badass little bait. I'm not even sure where you get these at. I don't even know what the brand is called. I just call it a chug bug. I'm not positive what it is. This thing just catches a crap load of them. And one thing that's awesome about this is like the cheapest bait in my, I think this is the cheapest bait in my whole boat. It's gotta be. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite Topwaters. It's timeless, dude. And the way that I'm throwing this is I'm throwing on a medium light, man. Whenever I'm running treble hooks, and whenever you got the words treble hooks in the deal, like medium light, you cannot go wrong. Treble hooks break, treble hooks snap, they're brittle typically. So a lot of times I like using medium lights. And even for the poppers, drop down to like a 7-foot medium light is perfect for the deal. This is a 7-foot HFX series medium light. It's perfect for the job. It's a great drop shot rod, but it's an awesome popper rod. Perfect for casting out those tiny poppers. So the reason why I don't have this on a bait caster is because it's way easier to cast this super far with a spinning rod. So definitely the way to go. I got a Daiwa Fuego on this 3000 series with 10-pound Daiwa J-braid to a 10-pound Daiwa Samurai fluorocarbon leader. The Daiwa J-braid Grand, you cannot cast lighter baits farther with any other braid besides this stuff, in my opinion. So definitely a great braid to get, and this is just the perfect combo. Bam. So next we got the Ned Rig, timeless bait out on Mille Lacs, man. Everybody throws a Ned Rig, but in the months of like July and August, our water temps are creeping up into the 70s, sometimes getting upper 70s sometimes. And when the water temp gets past 70 degrees, I am just a firm believer in really light stuff. Super finessey type stuff that just falls really slow, where it just kind of floats in the water and kind of just sits in the middle of the water column. I think that is like by far a giant player in the months of July and in August even, for that matter. So we got the Ned Rig. So on this bait, I got the Yamamoto floater by Yamamoto Baits. Now this bait floats, and then what I like to do with it, I ran some jig skirt through it, and then I have it on a 3/32 ounce Ned head. And just to give you guys some perspective, so you know, the 3/32 ounce head, I will throw that on a calm day, even in like 20 feet of water. You know, I can see the fish on live scope, man. I can watch the way they're interacting with this bait. And believe it or not, even in 20 feet of water, when that bait hits the water, those fish, they know, and they actually acknowledge the bait's like coming down on them, typically. And I've seen it countless times on forward facing, especially when you got clear, calm days or clear, sunny days. They without a doubt they know it. So one thing that I found through forward facing sonar is like heavier stuff, the fish don't even really like acknowledge it. Like the first 20 feet of that water column, as that bait's falling down, right? The first 20 feet. That is kind of, for me, like a really telling deal of like if those fish will commit or not. Now, it's not obviously foolproof. When I throw that 3/32 over that school of fish, like they immediately come off bottom and they start trying to race each other up to it. And they can come up off bottom as much as like 10 feet sometimes, which is pretty crazy. When I throw that heavier bait in warmer water, what happens is those fish, they don't, like sometimes when it hits, like first off, they don't try to like race for it. That's the first thing. They don't try to race for it, they don't compete for it. And then the next thing is they almost move out of the way. Like when it hits bottom, they almost scatter away from it. And I see that a lot on live scope. So it really got me into using just a lot of lighter stuff. And I've been saying this for years and years and years and years, lighter is gonna get you a bit more. And so that's where this comes in. Now, the setup is just as important as the bait. So we got the Halo KS2 Elite, 7'4" medium, and then the 7'4" is huge too, by the way. Just longer casts and stuff like that. It makes a big difference. The backbone definitely complements that hook set. I'm definitely into the 7'4" on this deal. Now, I'm running this with the 3000 Daiwa Tatula, but like optimally, I'd have this on like that 4000 Vanford most likely. So definitely sharp shooting fish with this bait. Sometimes I'll stroll it over the top of them just to see if they'll eat it. But it's definitely gold. And then 10-pound braid to a 10-pound leader, just like everything else. And yeah, this is definitely a great Ned Rig setup and a great way to catch bass. But just look at that thing. That thing is money, dude. The skirted thing, it's been around for a little while, and we've been using it for a minute and just kind of tried to keep it like on the down low, and people just kind of really like figured it out over time. And now it's like a trending thing, and you can't catch smallmouth without it. So next is going to be the drop shot, man. And basically nothing crazy on this one. Yamamoto Ned floater, I cut a little piece off of it and ran some skirt through it. The reason why I use that Yamamoto floater is because it floats, man. Because it's not the Elastec material, but the way that the plastics form is it actually floats and lifts up off bottom. And so I really like floating stuff on drop shots. So that's when I'll start using like a Z-Man product or like something like this. But definitely a great way to get away from paying like 10 to 15 bucks for a pack of plastic. super, super effective, and in my opinion, gets bit just as much. So, you know, on all these baits, basically, I'd probably take a little dab of bait fuel, apply it to all of them, and we're ready to go for the day. With drop shotting, the biggest thing is that the warmer the water is and the tougher the bite is, probably the longer that I want my lead. Right now, this one's about a foot, but like, the bite keeps on getting tougher and tougher and tougher. This leader is definitely gonna go up, especially if I start to see the fish positioned higher up in that water column. I'm definitely gonna want to have this bait positioned a little bit further up, but for right now, we got it 1 foot up off the bottom. And again, this HFX series is beginning to be one of my favorite models of all these rods, outside of that scoping rod, but this is definitely one of the best drop shot rods that I've ever held. You know what, 7 foot medium light. It's a great popper rod like I was saying before, but it's a freaking sweet drop shot rod. If you guys look at this bend, look at that thing, just like a noodle, you know, and that's what I'm looking for in a drop shot rod. These little hooks, I want something that's gonna bend over and touch the toes. So I'm looking for something just like this, and this thing is just a badass little rod. Got it paired with the Daiwa 4000 LT, and I promise you guys, like drop shotting, probably a 3000 would be probably a little bit better for it, but that's how I have this one rigged up. Great drop shot setup. These baits, do nothing baits, man. You throw them out, you literally hold your rod tip up. These skirts will move in the water without impeding hardly any action. It works great. Definitely a great finicky fish catcher. If one thing you guys notice about this is that like we're not doing hardly any net bait stuff, and part of the reason why, we got some new shit coming that's going to be coming out right after iCast. I can't talk about it right now. I really wish that I could, because it would have been perfect for this, but next time. We'll see it in August. You guys will definitely see it in August. Last but not least, you know, in July, in August, and September, for me personally, it becomes like I love chucking around an A-rig, especially when the water gets really, really warm. An A-rig plays big time because the bait is taking off. It's running all over the place, and fish will start to key in on bait a little bit going into the fall. That's when I like pulling out the A-rig, but not just any A-rig. So the reason why I don't have this on a rod is because I'm still trying to figure it out. So I didn't want to be too misleading with you guys. So I've tried this on a medium heavy casting rod. Fast action, it worked really good. All fluoro. And I've also watched my buddy Eric catch them on a spinning rod too as well. So I'm not sure the action that he was using. I personally have never used this on a spinning rod, but I've had clients throw it with the spinning rod and they were hooking them with it. So this right here, what's unique about this is that this is made out of all fluorocarbon, and I don't remember what pound test it's made out of, but it's all fluorocarbon. And as you guys can see, this is on a system where the arms will actually spin. And one of the things that's nice about those arms spinning is if you're one of those guys that don't have forward facing, or even if you do, and you like making this cast, which is a super long cast, let it hit bottom and just essentially drag it across bottom. That's where this thing really, really shines. It's a great scoping bait. And one thing that like Eric does with this thing is he's put straight tails on this thing, and he's actually like strolled them with it. So that's pretty impressive. Yeah, man, I would say this much right now. This little guy right here is going to be locked in the hands in July and August when it comes time for A-rig chucking. So I'm really excited to use this thing a little bit more. Last fall, I know Eric sold the shit out of them. If you guys want to buy these, I'll put a link below that you guys can just directly go right to his website and you guys can order them up. But they go fast. They go fast. He doesn't make giant batches and they go fast. So I'm pretty sure you could find them at like a few of the retailers too that he's in. But yeah, man, definitely something that's unique and it does get bit. Guys, I do promise to do more largemouth stuff. We will have a largemouth segment like real soon. Promise. I'm gonna get out, go do some largemouth fishing today. It's freaking hot out and it looks like the wind kind of is down a little bit, so I'm gonna go play around in a little bit here. Yeah, man, thanks for watching. And until next time, boys, you know where you'll find me. Find us on the water. So this is like one of my favorite times to fish. You guys look where that hook is. Just perfect. Right 3 or 4, but. Dude, he's actually pretty fat. Holy bro, this is a giant, whatever he is. There you go, there you go.
So, no, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't.